Hello, Crixis here and welcome everyone to this week's video. I am finally back. It took me a little bit longer to return because of some health issues, and I just also really wanted to slow down. So I'm happy to be back. I am here to show my watercolor palette, which I'm loving right now. I have been using this watercolor palette for past month, I would say, and I have created a lot of artworks with it. And this was the most popular request from you, so I decided to swatch all the colors out. So I hope you are excited. Grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee or any drink you like. And yeah, let's go to the video. Let's swatch colors. Let's chat about colors. And if you think you will like it, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel to grow and to be seen by more people. And with that being said, let's move on. I am swatching 2 times because I wanted to have a light fast test, which I will be doing over this summer. And because I have really nice morning light till midday, I think it would be great to see the results. I also decided to draw these small mini doodles with black pencil because I really wanted to see how opaque each paint is. The first color I swatched, it's called Coastal Fog. It's by American Journey. This is the gift I got from my course mate. She was studying with me in children's book illustration, and this is a brand from America. I'm not sure if we could get it here in the UK, but it's such a lovely tone, and I decided to have it here. It's kind of like buff titanium, but it's more neutral, which I actually really enjoy, and it's super opaque as well. It feels like gouache a little bit, like traditional gouache. And also in this color palette I included Buff Titanium by Daniel Smith. I remember when I got that paint, I realized that they're quite similar with American Journey Coastal Fog, but I think it's great to have both because Daniel Smith Buff Titanium is much more warmer and more beigeish, whereas Coastal Fog is more natural. So it's really interesting to have them both and have them for different purposes. And yeah, in this palette you will see me having so many natural tones because this is something I lean towards. And in the beginning I was thinking if I will make my watercolor palette I should include primaries, but at the same time I really want to make a color palette that will be workable for me. And sometimes I like to add some paints straight from the tube, and sometimes I like to mix them, so it's kind of like a mix in this palette. And the next color I'm swatching is a light yellow ochre by Deep Light, which is handmade watercolor brand from my home country Latvia. And I really love this yellow ochre because it's a kind of like palish tone, and it is a little bit less, it doesn't have a lot of tinting strength. And I feel in a way I enjoy it. I feel not all people will enjoy low tinting strength colors, but I feel this way it feels more like vintagey and natural. And I also like it how it looks together with the next color. So the next color is called Gold Ochre, and it's actually one of the strongest pigment ochres. It's quite vibrant in a way. Well, not as vibrant as like classic yellow, but this is my yellow for this color palette. It's quite opaque color, which is great because I can work in like a lot of layers, but also it makes beautiful washes at the same time. So beautiful versatile color. The next color is called Raw Sienna, and for those of who know, I love raw siennas. Such a lovely natural colors with kind of warm brown yellow tone. And this is also from Deep Deep Light. You will notice I will have a lot of handmade paints in here. I think why I like handmade paints, it's not only that they have beautiful granulation sometimes and like these sprinkles, which I actually really love sprinkles, but I realized that I really love the stories of these brands, and I really like with the handmade watercolors that you know that some person made it. It wasn't made in factory, which for me is super special. And yeah, I will have a lot of watercolors which are handmade here. So the next color I swatched is called Mermaid Egg, and this is the first of many more to come, Wallace and Seymour vintage watercolor paint. And I really love the unique pigments they have, and some of them are literally digged up from the ground, either like slate or quarry or mudstones, and I enjoyed that part. And this is such a funny name. I love Mermaid's Eye color name. Yeah, it's quite close to raw sienna, but at the same time, it's more neutral. It's kind of a little bit more with gray, and it's like it feels a little bit like gouache. The next paint color name is Amber. It's from Holbein Watercolours, and I just really wanted to have dark, deep brown color in my color palette, and I was thinking I will get something like raw amber, but then I checked what colors I already have, and I was like, oh, I have this amber from Holbein Watercolors. I might as well use it, so that's why it's here. Similar story with the next color. This is called Mars Yellow, and I love this color. It's beautiful orange, super muted orange tone, and I think I might prefer this over burnt siennas. I think I really love kind of more orangey, natural tones, and it's like a fox color. I think that would be the name I should call it. And yeah, it's by Holbein Watercolors as well. The next color I have is called Burnt Sienna Bagnoli. This is also from Wallace and Seymour. I really wanted to try their paint out and see how this burnt sienna differ from other, and it actually granulates really beautifully. It is especially visible if you do larger washes, and also if you work on rougher watercolor papers. On smooth watercolor papers, it will be a little bit less visible. The next color I swatch, it's actually, I made a mistake. I needed to swatch a red stone, but I swatched Layton red ochre instead. I accidentally mixed them up. It's kind of more like duller version of burnt sienna with tint of cool tones in it, if that makes sense. It's there. Some of the tones I have are quite similar, but honestly, I love even like slight variations. Okay, the next color is called Eglinton Green Earth. This is such a light color. I think also super low in tinting strength. It is digged up from the ground, and it has slight granulation and also some sprinkles, which I really love. It's super light. When you add like a lot of paint, then you can get a little bit more tone, but if you work with more water or wet on wet mediums, then this is going to be super light tone. It's almost like coastal fog, but I think this is a little bit more grayish than coastal fog. And the next color is called Hornister Green, Slate Pale. They're quite similar, but they are slightly different. I think Hornister Green Slate Pale is a little bit more greener and a little bit more like darker as well. And yeah, also with sparkles, which I really enjoy. And this is also from Wallace Seymour. You might notice that there is empty spot. It's because I actually have 4 more spaces in my watercolor palette. So if you have any suggestions, what should I put in my watercolor palette, let me know, because I will actually get some colors to put up here as well. And the next color is called Bent Grass. It is by Deep Deep Light. I got this quite a long while ago, and this was one of my favorites from Deep Deep Light for a long time, and I really love the granulation. It feels like kind of bronze yellow together with yellow ochre. There are some green feel in it. It's kind of like in between meadow green and raw sienna. Something in between. It's lovely tone. I love how there are 2 or 3 pigments and you can see them when they're separating. The next color is called Light Amber, and this is by Deep Deep Light. Quite close to the raw sienna, but Light Amber, it's a little bit kind of darker and also more towards red tone, whereas raw sienna is more towards yellow tone, if that makes sense. The next color is called Borders Red. It is by Wallace Seymour. It's a really interesting color. It's super low tinting and quite transparent, but I feel because I have so many like colors in this palette which are kind of low tinting, I can have like so many layers. And yeah, if I choose to work with just like super transparent colors, they could work really well together. But if I will mix something together with more opaque color, that could probably overpower everything. But yeah, this is a lovely color. It's kind of like pale red, I would say. It's not pink, it's more like towards red-orange, but super pale and muted and light. The next color is called Gerda's Pink. It's quite cool red. It is one of the few mixing colors. I almost never use it by itself. I usually mix it with something else, either to get like skin tones. It's perfect for mixing skin tones. Or if I want to mix more olivey greens, it's perfect. Or if I want to get warmer greens, and yeah, it's just mixing color. The next color is called Fradstone Natural Iron Clay Ochre. It's by Wallace Seymour. It is super similar also to Burnt Sienna. If I knew that they were quite similar, maybe I shouldn't have got the Burnt Sienna, but I didn't know. There's like a slight difference that Fradstone is a little bit more reddish, whereas Burnt Sienna is a little bit more orangish. The next color is actually one of my favorites, and that might be a surprise because it's kind of like brown pink tone, kind of dusky pink brown, something like that. It's called Moncton Whetstone. It's by Wallace Seymour. Beautiful color, one of my favorites. The next color is Marvelone Caput Mortum, and it's kind of like purple brown. You might think this is like a surprising color in my color palette, but I want to kind of not per se like go completely outside of my color range, but I want to add some colors that I feel they're natural enough for me to put in my color palette. And although I don't use pinks and purples in my work, I actually really love dusty pinks and kind of grayish, dark violet colors, which are more muted, nothing bright really. And I actually really love this color. So I have used this color in my color palette and in my work as well. And who knows, maybe I will have more pink colors in my color palette. The next color is called Davy's Grey. It's by Wallace Seymour. The next four colors actually are super low, with low tinting strength. They are also quite transparent. So this Davy's Grey, it's kind of like, I would say, warm grey color. That would be the best description. And then I have two colors which are also super similar. I maybe don't need both of them here, but I was just thinking, okay, for now I will have both of them, and maybe in the future I will replace one of them with something else. I just want to see also both of them in the light fastness test. So the first one is called Green Earth and it's by Deep Light. And the next color is called Bohemian Green Earth Genuine by Wallace Seymour. I feel if we really look up the differences, the second one, it's a little bit more warmer toned and it is slightly more opaque, but they both are transparent. So this is such a slight difference. When I got the Green Earth by Deep Light, I realized how close they are, because honestly I thought they will be so much more different, but I'm keeping both for now. The next color is called Green Earth Light. I love this color. It's also one of my favorites. It's beautiful tone and also super low tinting. And yeah, I feel if I do a lot of washes, I feel I get the Ginger Root Prismacolor pencil, which is one of my favorite color pencils I have. And yeah, I have been using it a lot as well. The next color is called Meadow Green by Deep Light. I love this color a lot because it's super opaque. So if I want to have transparent, I can just wash it out. And if I don't want it to be so light, I can just have the opaqueness of this color. And I also feel it's super versatile. I feel it's more versatile than Green Earth Light because in washes they look quite similar. So it's one of my favorite greens from these ones I have. The next color is called Solstice Fern, and it is a really lovely kind of middle green tone. It's a little bit more cooler if we compare it with Meadow Green, but it's also not like the classic primary green. It has really interesting undertones and washes, and I really enjoy working with it. I feel if I mix Solstice Fern with Gerdes Pink, I got lovely olivey tones, which is really nice. The next color is called Juniper Shadow, and this is a really interesting tone. It is kind of like cool toned, and it is also super opaque, but I like to use it in the washes as well. And I feel this is great paint to have for night scenes, especially if you paint like landscape. It's perfect, I think. It's beautiful granulation effects as well, and there is like a lot of tones in it. The next color I have is Shadow Green from Holbein. It is slightly warmer than Juniper Shadow, but just like a bit of slight thing. It can be really dark if I don't add a lot of water, and this is mainly for the night scenes. I really wanted to have some darker tones for the night, and it's lovely tone to have. The next color is called Prussian Blue. It is by Wallace Seymour. It's kind of like classic Prussian blue. I love Prussian blues in general. And I want to check the light fastness of this color. I want to try something close as well, or some different blue or dark blue-gray color for the night skies. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. As you see, there is like one empty spot, and I'm in the looks for the night sky color. I realized I really enjoy lapis lazuli paints. I know it might not be for everyone because it's super low tinting strength, it's kind of like transparent, and it doesn't work well with opaque colors. It kind of disappears. I would say like for lapis lazuli paints, it's much better to just use them straight from the tube by themselves. Lapis lazuli from Deep Deep Light, and it's from Baikal. It's quite also with speckles and super neutral tone. I know some lapis lazuli paints are more brighter, but the ones I have, they are quite neutral. The next color is called Lapis Ashes. It's by Wallace Seymour. It's one of the colors I enjoy a lot and have the magic happen, and there were small, for this Wallace Seymour, there are small speckles. The next color is called Slate Grey, and it is by Deep Deep Light. It is a lovely sky color for me. I like to use it as a wash for cloudy day. It's just perfect tone to have. And also sometimes like mixing with other colors to dull them down. The next color is called Grey Ochre, and it's beautiful grey tone. It's kind of dark, but a little bit warmer, but not so warm as well. It's quite neutral, and it makes beautiful granulation effect as well. Not so much as Lunar Black, but it makes really beautiful tones, and I have used this color a lot. And this is also, I guess, quite surprising color to have for my color palette. I said it before, but I don't normally use black colors, but this is exception because I actually really love this color. It is Lunar Black by Daniel Smith, and it's super granulating color. And I guess because I don't have a lot of granulating color, this fascinates me a lot. And I think I should get more granulating colors. But yeah, this is really interesting one. I use it with little bit mixes together with different colors. Super rarely I use it straight from the tube, but I think it's the color I wanted to have in my color palette to kind of experiment and also go out of comfort zone. Okay, so these are all the colors, and let me know if you have any suggestions about 4 more colors I should add in my color palette. I think I want to have another night blue color and one more yellow and maybe another gray color.
I know you showed me your affection, but I was looking for perfection. So I moved on and on and on to someone new, as if no one knew what I was going through. I know you think I'm just pretending, and that I can't rewrite the ending, but to move on and on and on to someone new isn't how you find the one that I am through with playing games. You are not just a flavor of the day. This time you are more than a flavor of the day. I know you don't know what to expect, but I'm sure that if I just kept moving on and on and on to someone new, I would have never understood that I had you who gave it all. You're not just a flavor of the day.
you so much for watching this week's video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a thumbs up. Thank you so much for all of my lovely Patreons who are supporting me there. Have a lovely day, evening, morning, wherever you are, and I will see you super soon. Bye everyone!